Okay. Hold on, I gotta pull this up. Oh, I should probably stop recording and do an intro. Oh, butt nuggets. I also gotta download my spooky lighting. Hey, buggers, what's up? It's your girl, Buggy Murphy, and today is gonna be an interesting video. And I'm not gonna lie, it's my 6th video that I filmed, and hopefully this one gets posted because I've been lazy to post. My hair ain't looking cute, but you know what? I'm always cute, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, pretty fitting. Gonna need the setup. I'm gonna try. You guys are on my laptop, so. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna talk about my life story, my testimony, all that jazz, and a bag of cats. Okay, well, let's go. Okay, so just gonna give a heads up, this video is already on YouTube. Not this video, but well, I mean, I guess when you're watching this video is already on YouTube. I make jokes. My speech is already on YouTube. But the issue with my speech being already on YouTube is my mom was crying the whole time, and you can't hear what I was saying unless you have a good speaker. I have my thing, so if I do start to tear up, I could quickly look at my speech. So yeah. This is honestly weird to do for the simple fact of I only shared my speech in public, and here I am talking to myself in my bedroom about my speech. It's weird, even though by the time you guys are watching this, I guess it'd basically be me talking to you all. Don't lag on me. Okay. Enough stalling. Let's get into this. My past is an armor. I can't take it off no matter how many times you tell me the war is over. Today we are going to look at my story, but not my full story. Then why people should talk or tell about knowing or having someone with PTSD. And lastly, seeing for myself for the first time what happened when I told my story. Growing up, I didn't have the best childhood I could have had. You see, everyone in life has the good, bad, and the ugly, but it doesn't mean you can't grow from the good, the bad, and the ugly. I was diagnosed at the age of 4 with PTSD due to this is a lot harder when, oh god, no. I'm gonna pause for a second. It's a lot harder saying it by yourself than having a room full of people. I never cried during this. I'm only cried one time sharing the speech, but in public. I guess it's easier doing it in front of people than it is by yourself. I was diagnosed at the age of 4 due to a childhood traumatic abuse. Unfortunately, this is a battle I'll have to fight for the rest of my life, to the point where I had to go back to therapy. I was child molested and child abused by my own biological father until the age of 8. The man that's supposed to be a hero, and the person that's supposed to be a hero in the kid's life ended up being my arch nemesis, my villain. And due to that, a lot of my childhood, I didn't believe in God until the age of 9. I remember everything that happened, but the one I'm able to tell, the one that doesn't appear in my nightmares at night, is this. I was 5 years old at the time, and for some reason me and my abuser had to go to the store. I saw my grandparents there, and I didn't want to be around this man anymore. I begged my grandparents to go, for me to go with them, and he told them no, and so they had to say, sorry, Newt, we can't. After that, he pulled me into the men's bathroom stall to do unspeakable things to me, so I would be punished for what I did because it was wrong. I'm scrolling down so I could keep looking over. And I'm not going word by word. I'm speaking in a whole mess. Oh my god. 3 months after that happened, I asked him how I could get him to stop doing what he was doing to me. The reason for this question was because he wasn't only physically abusive, but mentally. He lied to me, saying that my mom wasn't my real mom, that I killed my mom at childbirth, that I belong in hell because I was Satan's child. So when I asked him this question, it was because I was afraid that he could take me away from my own mother, the only place where I felt safe. He told me the way I could get him to stop was to grab a knife, put it to my throat, and slit my neck, so I could go back to hell where I belong. That weekend, when I went back home to my mom and my stepdad's house, I went to the kitchen, I grabbed a knife to try to do just that. But where he would say I messed up, but where I would say I did the smart thing to do, is I walked to my mom so I wouldn't be scared to go to hell. When I put the knife up to my neck, she quickly grabbed it and asked me what I was doing, and I made a deal with her. I would tell my stepdad, but he would not be able to tell her. A month after that incident, I walked into my mom and stepdad's room so I could ask my stepdad a very, very important question. I asked my stepdad if I could start calling him Dad. They were both shocked, and they asked me why. As a 5-year-old, I gave a response that they would have never thought would have been it. I asked to be my stepdad's daughter because he acted like the other dad inside of school when he was at my school and outside of my school. My dad, if you live at the lake, you possibly do know who he is. He owns Murphy's Seaman Coiling. And his name is Jack Murphy. And to be honest, this is why no one on the internet knows my real last name. And a lot of people do truly think my last name is Murphy. My dad, Jack Murphy, and I's relationship is one that every kid wants. to have with their father. When he came into my life, it was never you have to call me dad. It was you call me whatever you want. And the fact is, I absolutely hated him when he walked into my mom and I's. My mom and I. Me and my mom's? That sounds more right. Me and my mom's life. Because truly I didn't want to share my mom with anyone. I honestly enjoyed getting on his nerves. But no matter what, he always loved me. No matter what I did, what I said, or how I behaved, he was always there for me. He still is always there for me. When I was scared, he protected me. When I was sad, he's there to hold me. And he's still there today. He made it clear a long time. I'll be back in a second. He made it clear a long time ago that DNA doesn't make the family, it's love that you have for each other. My father is Jack Murphy, and I am so gratefully and proud to be his daughter. I don't need the court to change my real last name and change it to Murphy. I don't need any of that because he proves with his love every day that I'm his daughter and he's my father. He saved me, and to be truly honest, if it wasn't for him and my mom, I don't even think I would be here today. He's could have just walked out of our lives and dealt with his own divorce. Not a 10-year battle with this woman that he met at a campsite with her daughter and spent tens of thousands of dollars on attorney fees and court fees, and DFS constantly checking up on us because my abuser would make false reports. My dad stayed with us because he loved my mother and he loved me with every inch of his body, and he still does to this day. With my parents' love and support and everything that I do, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Like I said, I don't even think I would even be here today if it wasn't for them. I cannot pinpoint one response that my father would say or do to prove that he is a good father, because he does everything right as what a father should do. And to be honest with them, with their love, I am no longer the victim of my biological father's evil ways, but I am the survivor. There's not one thing that they could have done to change my mind point on them. So, now I'm going to get into the part of why I'm sharing my story and why people should share their story. People should share their story about life with PTSD or any forms of depression and anxiety, because it's a part of healing. Now, I'm not saying what I'm doing right here, blasting it to the whole world, but just telling it to your friends and your family and to your loved ones. Because most likely they're going to see what it does to you, how it affects you, and they can pinpoint the symptoms of you having it. And trust me, it's a lot better to have a shoulder to lean on and cry on. But for someone that knows someone with PTSD or any form of depression and anxiety, you gotta understand that they're most likely to push people away because they feel so alone. They feel like they shouldn't have anyone. For me, I isolate myself from everyone. And I live in my room. I won't leave my room. Unless I have to, of course, use the restroom or get food. Survivors feel like they're the only ones going through that, but in the world that we have today and the technology we have today, it doesn't have to feel like they're alone anymore. We don't mean to feel like we're alone, and we don't mean to push everyone out. According to Very Well Minded, it can be difficult for people with post-traumatic stress disorder to share their news of their diagnosis with others, but it doesn't have to be. While individuals with PTSD don't have to disclose their disorder to anyone or everyone, it's important not to keep those conditions from their loved ones. After all, your loved ones are most likely to see the symptoms of your disorder. They can also help you get out of that wet, cold blanket of anxiety and that deep, dark hole of depression before you end up hurting or even worse, killing yourself. Describing the feeling can help people understand what it's like in your mind. According to Tara H. on The Mighty, the best description I've ever came across was the Walking Dead episode Here Not Here. One of the characters named Morgan described PTSD. You saw it happen. That's how it started, right? It all happened right in front of your eyes, over and over. You see a door. Oh, sorry, I messed up. Your body's here, but your mind's still there. There's a door, you want to go through it to get away from it, so you do, and it leads you right back to that moment. And you see the door again, and you know it won't work, but hell, maybe it will. So you step through that door, and you're right back in that horrible moment every time. You feel it every time. So you just want to stop opening that door. So you just sit in it. But I assure you, one of those doors will lead out, my friend. When I told my story for the first time to people outside of my family, everyone in my family knew somewhat of what I went through. Only 3 people know the full story. The 3 people would be my counselor that I had as a kid, me, and my abuser. Not even my dad, Jack Murphy, fully knows what happened. In 9th grade, I got so tired of being known as the quiet one in 9th grade, the girl that would only let certain people into her life. 7 years of not seeing the man that took away my innocence, and 11 years since I was diagnosed with PTSD. I decided to tell my small group, a youth group, my small group was a bunch of girls, So I told them about my story because why does the man, my abuser, my attacker, gets to continue hurting me and haunting me for the rest of my life? After I told them, they told my main youth pastor at the time about how powerful my testimony to God was, and how I found God after a year after not seeing my abuser, and the year of me starting to get bullied, because I realized it was an easier battle. He then asked me to tell my entire youth group. And I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified. I told those girls because I grew a strong relationship with each and every one of them. But I was just so terrified because I didn't know everyone in the youth group. But I decided to be strong and go ahead and share my story. For the first time ever in my life, of something that I just did, not being a part of a band or some activity, just me doing this, I got a standing ovation. 10 people came up telling me that they knew someone with a similar story that felt the same. 5 others came up, told me that they were also suffering from PTSD, and that they were too scared to tell their story. So Tara H had a really good quote of how it feels from a show, and I found a quote from a show too, from the 911 episode on Fox called Stuck, a conversation between Chim and Cap, talking about Chim's PTSD after trying to save a man's life. Cap understands where Chim is coming from because he also suffers from PTSD. This example shows what happens after you tell someone close to you about PTSD. You alright? No, I don't know that I am. I lived, Cap. I'm alive. Yeah, you are. Why? How come I survived and that poor man back there didn't? I mean, his life was about to change, right? He had so much to live for. So do you. Do I? Something happened to me that was supposed to be life-changing and nothing changed. It's like everything just stopped. I felt like I died that night. I mean, I just keep replaying those moments in my head. All those moments on the freeway, the look on your face, being wheeled into the ETR. I thought you didn't remember any of that. I remembered it all. Everything. It wakes me up in the middle of the night. I just can't. You kept telling everyone you had no memory of it. I know. Why? I don't know. I guess it's just not. I guess it's easier to not talk about it. I don't want to recount it as some sort of freak show form of entertainment. I just want to get away from it. You know, Chim, a life-changing event can't change your life if you pretend it didn't happen. You gotta talk about it, man. You gotta let it out, process it. You feel like you're still trapped in that car, don't you? Sitting helpless on that freeway? Well, you're not on that freeway, and you're not helpless, Chim. You're right here, pal. So are all the people that love you. So that's my speech. Understand that this is not my full story, but it's a snippet of hope with you about my PTSD, that it may help you or someone that you know with PTSD. I am thankful for what happened to me because it truly made me a stronger person mentally and has grown my faith in the Lord. than you can even imagine. Like the Bible verse, Philippians 4-8, finally friends, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things, because you are truly worthy and you are God's child. And that no matter what, Satan will never win this war between heaven and hell. To be strong, you gotta grow weak. PTSD is unfortunately a battle I'll have to fight for the rest of my life. Because my past is an armor, I can't take it off. No matter how many times you tell me the war is over. From Unknown, thank you. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Like and subscribe. Send this to someone that you know is suffering from any form of depression and anxiety. Love you buggers, and hope to make another video for you guys soon.